This video is brought to you by Dynamic Custom Beadworks. Head over to dynamicbeadworks.com now to get your own custom video game sprite.
You got the touch. You got the power.
Hey guys, Jkun here with another video about the possibility of Injustice 2 and a Kombat Pack 3 for Mortal Kombat X. Now in the last video, we talked about all the evidence pointing to a sequel to Injustice Gods Among Us coming our way, and the possibility of a third Kombat Pack coming for Mortal Kombat X. In this video, we'll cover the changes I'd like to see made to Injustice 2, other characters I'd like to see make an appearance, and we'll be doing the same for Kombat Pack 3. Let's go ahead and start with Injustice. Gameplay for the most part, I'd like to see for Injustice 2 to be about the same as it was in the first game, minus a couple of tweaks. Next would be an increase in movement speed. Sometimes it felt like it took forever to get from one side of the screen to another, and in some characters' cases, it was next to impossible if someone started a zoning type game. I also think there should be an adjustment to interactable and stage transitions. For the most parts, transitions should remain the same, but with interactables, the only way you could avoid them was to do a frame-perfect backdash or have perfect timing with a jump. We all know no one's going to be perfect with that all the time, so being able to block interactables would be a welcome addition to the gameplay mechanics. Furthermore, I think the interactables should be a little less available. In some stages, like the Watchtower, if you were positioned on the right side of the screen, you had access to a never-ending string of interactables you could use every few seconds, which, if the player is smart, will always have the opponent at a disadvantage. By comparison, I think Mortal Kombat X handles interactables perfectly, so Injustice should inherit how that's handled from MKX. Outside of that, give us the netcode that Mortal Kombat X currently uses, and that could be an instant recipe for success. Now let's talk about the roster. For the most part, I was very happy with the roster of Injustice Gods Among Us. However, I do feel it tipped heavily in the favor of Batman. An entire third of the roster was devoted to Batman characters. And while Batman has a very interesting and unique lineup, the DC universe is vast, with an abundant gallery of interesting choices that would work well in a fighting game. For returning characters, I'm sure no one is surprised to hear that I'd love to see Green Lantern back. But other characters that I would like to see in no particular order would be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Sinestro, Shazam, The Flash, Cyborg, the Joker, Solomon Grundy, Doomsday, Black Adam, and Martian Manhunter. As far as new characters, I would like to see more diversity with the Lantern Corps, possibly Atrocitus, the Red Lantern. Since they already have a character model, I don't see why he couldn't be added to the roster. Red Hood would be a nice replacement for Nightwing or Batgirl, and Darkseid would be another awesome addition. Again, since they already have a character model for him, it would be an easy choice. And with the Suicide Squad movie coming out soon, Deadshot would be possible, alongside Killer Croc. I felt magic users didn't get a lot of exposure in the previous game outside of Zatanna, so possibly the Demon Etrigan or Dr. Fate would make good additions. If Lex Luthor or Doomsday are getting stale as Superman villains, then try mixing it up a little bit. Try other ones like Brainiac, the Parasite, or even Metallo, all of which we see in the background of the previous games. I think at this point it kind of goes without saying that I would obviously very much welcome a bigger roster for Injustice 2. So enough about that for right now. Let's go ahead and talk about the possibilities of getting a third Kombat Pack. As far as gameplay mechanics go for Mortal Kombat X, I don't think there's anything I'd change as a whole outside of small gripes with specific characters and variations. So I think it's best to keep stuff like that to myself and focus on the bigger picture. Now with the past two Kombat Packs, we got 4 characters each. With Kombat Pack 1, we got Jason Voorhees, Tanya, Tremor, and the Predator. With Kombat Pack 2, we got Bo Rai Cho, Leatherface, Triborg, and the Xenomorph from the Alien series. I'd love for Kombat Pack 3 to be all Mortal Kombat characters, but the realistic point of view is that Kombat Pack 3 would more than likely follow the same formula as the previous two, having 2 Mortal Kombat characters and 2 guest movie characters. As far as MK characters go, I would like to see people along the lines of Stryker, Rain, Nightwolf, or Cabal. The sky is the limit when it comes to the MK characters because all of the people we saw in the previous game made an appearance in the story mode of Mortal Kombat X, with the exception of a few like Shang Tsung, Noob Saibot, Shiva, and Kintaro. We will most likely never see Baraka, however, in Mortal Kombat X due to the alien having a Tarkatan variation. But realistically, what we will most likely see in Kombat Pack 3 would be Rain and Sindel, as they already have fully functional character models and movesets already in the game. As far as guest characters though, this is where I become a bit of a loss. I think you could possibly see the return of Freddy Krueger, since he was a fan favorite among MK9, and with the reveal of Jason, people clamored almost immediately to see Freddy return in order to provide an unscripted showdown between these two characters. Now, the second guest character is where I truly find myself at a loss. With the previous 4 guest characters, 2 came from the slasher horror movie genre, and then 2 came from the sci-fi horror movie genre. I could be wrong here, but it seemed to me, when it came to the sci-fi horror movies, the big 3 were always the Alien, the Predator, and the Terminator. I honestly don't see the Terminator making an appearance in this game without playing very similar to other characters like Heavy Weapons Jax or the lackey variation of Ferritor where only Tor fights. But there is always that wild card where you could use Todd McFarlane's Spawn as a guest character. Todd went on record before MKX's release, saying that NetherRealm had permission to use the character if they wanted to. But because NetherRealm is tied to Warner Brothers, which is also tied to DC Comics, it's more than likely that we may never see Spawn in a Mortal Kombat game. It's more likely we could see someone like the Joker instead. Having Scorpion as a guest character in Injustice didn't go very well when it initially happened, but it's something that could be a possibility. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens when the announcements at E3 and possibly the ESL Finals happen in just a few days. That's all I got for now. But as always, if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.